Hey, I'm Joe Seagle, one of the owners of MyLandTrustee, which consists of Land Trust Service Corporation, TRSTE LLC, and a few other companies that serve as land trustee for Florida properties. If you're watching this video, welcome to the family. It means that you have joined our family as a beneficiary or holder of the power of direction or otherwise a client of our company to be trustee for one or more of your pieces of real estate in Florida. So I just like to record this video, number one, to welcome you to the family, and number two, to sort of give you some caveats, some warnings, some things to watch out for as you are holding this property in trust. So it's sort of our playbook. And it's some things that we've noticed over the years that beneficiaries simply forget, they don't know about, and we don't want anyone to be confused or feel like we've not told them what they should or should not be doing with their land trust property. So number one, now that the property is in the land trust, best case scenario is you don't sign anything directly anymore if possible. You don't sign leases, you don't sign permit applications, you don't sign contracts for selling or buying the property. You don't sign anything dealing with the property directly. Any legal agreement related to the property, please send it to sign@mylandtrustee.com, and we will take care of getting it signed, scan it back. We'll save it into Clio, our practice management system, and share it with you, or we can email it to you, whichever you prefer. I think it also goes for notices of commencement and other construction related documents. So it's very important because you want to what happens whenever or something bad goes on with that property. You want the only person named in that lawsuit to be us as trustee of the trust. If you have also signed it, they're going to name us as the owner of the property, but they're also going to name you because you are the one who personally signed the document. So please try not to sign any documents. Number two, a lot of people have a lot of questions about, well, but what about utilities? Okay. Part of your package of documents that you receive with the land trust is a direction. It's an information about the holder of the power of direction of your trust. And it's a letter, and it's to whom it may concern. And in that letter, we have given the name of the person who is allowed to open utilities and otherwise deal with the property. So if you need to go talk to the city or the county about pulling a permit and what zoning is and things like that, you can show them that letter and say, look, it's signed by the owner of the property, the trustee of the property, saying that I hold the power of direction and you're allowed to talk to me. It does not say you're the beneficiary. It just says that you hold the power of direction to tell us what to do. So we therefore let the world know that you are allowed to speak on behalf of the trust to obtain utilities and otherwise deal with the property in that way. Also, that piece of paper makes it very clear that you are the one who would open utility accounts. And you may open those utility accounts in your name. In fact, we usually recommend that you open them in your name because utility companies like to do a background credit check on the holder of the account. And if you have to run it on the trust has no credit history. Therefore, it will come back and they're going to charge you a very large deposit, whether it's power, water, sewer, whatever it may be. They're going to charge you a lot of money. Whereas if they can run it on your individual Social Security number and you have good credit, they're probably just going to waive the security deposit. So you're not going to have a security deposit in most cases, or it's going to be very minimal. So that's another reason. And also that security deposit will come back to you when the account is closed rather than being in our name and may come back to us. So utilities definitely go in your name directly, not into the trust name, not into our name. They'll go into your name or your company's name, however you want to do that. And then you deal directly with utility companies. Insurance is another big issue. People go, well, what do I need to do with insurance? Now that the property is owned by us as trustee of a land trust, you must go obtain new insurance, hazard insurance and liability insurance on the property if you want insurance, because the insured, as that is defined in every insurance policy, is the person or entity that has an insurable interest in the real estate, in the premises, in the property. that person is the person who holds legal or equitable title in the property. And in this case, the trustee, us, we hold both legal and equitable title in the property. Now, you also have a little bit of equitable title in the property in that you are the beneficiary and you do tell us what to do and you direct everything about the trust. So therefore, we recommend you obtain a new hazard insurance policy in the name of the trust with us as trustee, but also name yourself as an insured if possible, if the insurance company will allow it. And if they won't allow that, at least name yourself. The beneficiary should be at least a loss payee on the policy. Now, number two, big thing about insurance is that now that the property is held in a land trust, it is not in a human being's name. Any insurance company in the United States, if the property is not held in a human being's name, they will not cover liability on the hazard insurance policy. That policy will simply cover hurricanes, fires, vandalism, break-in, things like that, theft. It will not cover liability. Someone slipping and falling on the property, a dog bite, which most policies won't cover dog bites anyway, or something like that. They're not going to cover it. A worker, a handyman falls off the roof and gets hurt, and somehow they sue you because it's your fault. They're not going to cover that under your hazard insurance policy like a normal policy where the property is owned by a human being. So for that, you have to obtain what's called a separate business owner's premises liability policy. So you get a separate policy, and what we found, most of our clients have always found, is that, okay, I've got a hazard insurance policy, but because they ripped out anything covering liability, my premium dropped. So now I'm going to go get a liability policy. It's got its own premium too. So now I have two policies with two premiums, but typically when you add them together, it still comes out to be roughly about the same as what you would spend if you'd just gotten a hazard insurance policy that had the liability baked into it. So that's another big thing about that. You've got to do that. If you have any questions about your land trust at any time and how it works, feel free always to either give us a call or email us at hello@mylandtrustee.com. So you're going to send documents to be signed to sign at mylandtrustee.com. You're going to send any questions or anything about your matter to hello@mylandtrustee.com. Now, we bill at the start of every year for your annual trustee fee, and that fee may go up from time to time. We did raise it in 2024, 2025. That was the first time we did a raise in 20 years. So in the future, we visit our prices about every year, and depending on inflation, we do raise that annual fee for that. Then we also have a little extra fee here and there if we receive a certified letter on your behalf. We have to stand in line at the post office and sign documents to get that. So we charge a little bit extra for that. And also, if we get served with a lawsuit against the trust, we charge a little bit extra for that, because we will typically scan that to the system and share it with you that way. But then we also send it to you by mail. So that costs us a little bit extra money. So we do charge for that as well. And we can also act as your registered agent. If you have a company, if you have an LLC or a corporation in Florida, we act as your registered agent for that. We do charge a small fee for that as well, which changes from year to year. But if you have that need as well, we can take care of that for you, because our subsidiary companies under MyLandTrustee.com, we have a company that will act as registered agent. And that's what it does. So those are the biggest issues that we have ever seen on a regular basis out of the land trust. People want to know, well, what do I do if I need something signed? What do I do if it's going to closing? How do I title on the contract if I'm going to buy the property? Just remember, it's your trustee as trustee of your land trust name, dated, and the trust date. You should have all that information already. If you don't, send us an email to hello@mylandtrustee.com. Be sure to include the property address. We'll look it up for you, and we'll get that information to you very quickly of exactly what you need. And also, of course, at any time, if you have any other questions, you can always go to mylandtrustee.com, and we have a lot of information there. And also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/at MyLandTrustee, and that will subscribe you to all of our videos that we release on a regular basis, and you can see everything there. And then also, of course, if you haven't already, sign up for our newsletter that comes out every Friday, at least 50 weeks out of the year, at 8:15 a.m. And in there, you're not just necessarily going to get information about land trust, but we do also include information if anything changes or anything going on with our office. We always put at the top of that email every week important information you may need to know about things that are going on in our office, or things that are going on in the law, or things that are going on in Florida, or things that are going on in the real estate market right there. And then we also cover a lot of topics that are very pertinent and keeping real estate entrepreneurs, investors, and other professionals, realtors, title agents, insurance folks, up to date on the latest news related to the economy, politics, and real estate, and how those all intertwine in Florida to affect your life in general. It's great to have you as part of the family. Welcome again, and we look forward to a long relationship with you.